It's January 17th. I'm set up for an afternoon hunt. My morning hunt was a bust. I didn't see anything. I had the wind right. Everything looked good. I just didn't see no deer. This afternoon, I'm on my property watching one of my little green fields. The green fields don't look that good. There's not a lot of deer sign. But I'm in a good spot, I think, anyway. I've got about I've got a scrape hub over there, about 200 yards from here. There's a scrape line, rub line. Right here is a marsh. These deer skirt around the edge of that marsh out there. I don't know if you can see the water or not. And then I got another green field back up there on the hilltop behind me. And these deer skirt through here. It's pretty much just a rub line trail. Scrape line, rub line. My son shot his buck over there last year, about 100 yards from here. They come around that end of the marsh. This marsh is about, I don't know, maybe 300 yards long. And then they come around the top end of the marsh up here and among all those willows. Wish me luck. Well, today's January 19th. I've been sitting here since before daylight. I've got trails crisscrossing right in here in these little obese small pines. I've got a little opening right over there I can get a shot to. There's a trail crisscrossing from there over to a clear cut behind me. It's growed up. I was real excited to sit in this spot. I've been waiting on a perfect wind and a good morning to come in here and set up. I've got a really good series of rubs and scrapes, lots of droppings. This is an opening in the middle of a sea of pines that just has a few mature oak pine trees still growing up on this hump. I got deer beds probably about 60, 70 yards from here. I'll tell you right now, I sat here and I ain't seen nothing, and I'm about to freeze to death. It's done got so cold that it's painful. I guess this wind ain't gonna let up, and I'm fixing to go back to the truck and get warm. It's 10:30. Ain't seen nothing. Today is January 23rd. I'm hunting my property, which I've not hunted very much at all this year. And I've got wide open woods behind me. My wind is blowing that direction. And when you get to this side over here, there's a lot of blowdowns and trash and browse that the deer like. I've got a good trails coming out right in this corner in between all these blowdowns. You look back toward the south and there's my lake back there. I just jumped 2 does out of that trash right there. And they run out there. They never even snorted at me. They just bailed out. So I waited and let them get a little bit further away from me, and then I snorted 2 or 3 times right before I climbed this tree, in hopes I can maybe confuse them. So, sit here and see what happens. It's an afternoon hunt. It's closing time on January 23rd. The only thing I saw was 2 little does running off as I came in. Today is January 30th, and I'm sitting in a bowl. It's what I call a bowl. Some people call it a thermal hub. You get down in here, your wind bounces off all these ridges, and it whirls and twirls and does all kind of crazy things. But this is where I'm setting up because the wind is strong enough, I think, to overcome the whirling wind effect. I've got this wind coming up this little drainage right here in front of me. It's wide open woods. I've got real high ridges. On top of these ridges, it's really super thick all the way around me. A lot of deer bedding up there. All these trails, I got a clear cut over there and another high ridge. I know I got some deer that like to bed on that ridge over there. Behind me, I got some other ridges and a little draw that brings all these deer down here. I'm in the bend of this creek, so all these deer will be coming from left and right, kind of paralleling this creek or dropping off and crossing the creek coming up in front of me. There's some fresh deer sign here, some big deer tracks. Mainly I sit here because I saw the big deer tracks. Otherwise I'd never sit here. There's a lot of does in here, I know that. But if there's one big set of deer tracks in here, it's possible on January 30th I might have a fawn that's coming into heat, and he may be on her tail. So that's my game plan. Wish me luck. Well, my afternoon hunt has come to an end. I saw 2 does come through this bowl, not doing what I expected them to do. But I think it gave me a little bit of an insight on what these deer might be doing in here. On the other side of this clear cut, all afternoon was a doe blowing. If she blew once, she blew 75 times. I don't know what she's blowing at over there, but obviously she's pretty upset. Been an interesting afternoon. Today's January 31st. I snuck in here and I got right up on that flat there, which is where I felt like the buck would cross over to J-hook into his bed. There's a clear cut right over there, probably 10-12-year-old. I figured he'd walk the edge of that up that swag on that side and J-hook around on that flat and then come down here. This trail is right there, and I figured he would either bed right here behind this blowdown or over there on the end out there by that big blowdown, which he bedded by the big blowdown. What he did was he came up that little swag on this side. I don't know why. It's easier walking on the other side, and that's where the main trail is, where he usually walks. But he come up this side. Now what he did was he walked all the way up here and he cut across right here pretty tight on the bottom side of this flat. I could see him in my tree stand, but I never could get a really good look at him. It's so thick. And then he just like did a half moon circle all the way around, and then dropped right back down and bedded behind me. He did almost like a full, almost an entire full circle on this flat is what he did. Had two hen turkeys come by me, and they walked all the way down here on this flat and off the end of the ridge, and I figured them hen turkey might get him up, but they didn't. I got down, walked down here, and I got him up. So this hunt was a bust. It's January 31st for my afternoon hunt. I'm set up about 100 yards at the end of a marsh. It's really thick everywhere around, but there's an opening in front of me and behind me. That's an old road bed. These deer like to walk coming around the head of this marsh. And then it gets really thick. I'm just going to sit here this afternoon. It's so stinking quiet in the woods. I doubt if anything moves. But I can't shoot one sitting on the couch. And maybe I can listen and hear where they come from and get a little bit closer. I know for a fact I'm within 100 yards of two different areas deer like to bed, so as quiet as it is this evening, that's about as close as I think I can get to them.
I've been sitting here for quite some time before I noticed this. Maybe some of you guys can tell me what kind of critter you think's living in there. Personally, I've never seen anything quite like it before. Perfectly round, almost like a bird nest, high off the ground. Your guess is as good as mine.
Well, that really sucks. I got set up on the ground here. Oh, I'm shaking like a leaf. He run right up in my freaking face. God, we had a stare down. I thought I had the record button turned on, and I guess I never had it turned on. God, I'm shaking like this is so exciting. I probably wasn't 5 yards from that dude. Anyway, he don't know what I am. He circled around me and went on by me. I gotta stop shaking. It might have been another deer come by. This is ridiculous. I'm so cold. I know it's probably too dark to even see, but if you can imagine that deer being right on the other side of that log right there. He's about 5 steps. 7 at the tops, depending on how you step. I forgot to hit the record button. I could have killed him, I guess. It was a bad angle if I hadn't been trying to freaking video the deer. He'd have never seen me. But 2 more right behind him. And all he did was just jump right up over this lump right here. And then he got in that thick stuff right there. I don't know, you can't see probably any of this stuff. I don't know if I can lighten it up on the video edit or not. And then he run right down through there. He stayed even over there, ate, but that's 20 yards over there. But I couldn't shoot through that thick stuff. He run that edge right over there. Anyway, I'm getting out of here. It's been a very exciting hunt. Coming in here when I sat down, I realized there was deer tracks right here on this little hump. Doggone, he run right up in my face. That was his deer tracks, apparently. And I was sitting where he wanted to walk. Been exciting. I'm getting out of here now. I've got about 20 more minutes. I want to be in that tree 15 yards from here. That's all I care about. That buck is bedding right there on that point of that swamp. And I'm not going to booger him up. I'm hoping he'll come up this ridge right here and walk either that little swag or the swag to my right. Alright, I'm set up in my tree. I started at 1 o'clock, sneaking in here. It's a little after 3 o'clock right now. I'm 63 yards from where I know his bed is. I'm hoping it's thick enough between here and there that he didn't see me climb this tree. I'm actually in a pine tree. Talk about climbing a tree slowly. I think I got in here quite enough though. Wind's kind of blowing, the trees are creaking and popping. Maybe that helped disguise my presence. We'll find out. Well, it's closing time. I ain't seen nor heard anything. Either he's not bedded on that point, or he knows I'm here. I'm going to give it a few more minutes and head back to the truck.
Good morning.
Well, I'm getting a little bit of a late start, but I'm going to be on the end of this marsh, where this marsh pinches these two ridges together, sitting on a corner. Should be a good pinch point headed to a bed area. Wish me luck. Well, I finally got set up in my tree stand. This morning didn't quite work out like I wanted it to. I got a real late start. But this big old marsh right here turns into a lake on one end of it. And it creates a little pinch point right there. They cross. And they cross up there. And they cross a little bit further up, about 200 yards of it. But all these trails mesh together right here in the corner of these small pines. They're heading into these small pines on top of that ridge up there. And the backside's major bedding. So maybe it'll work out for me this morning. Catch one coming through.
I didn't see anything but this one fresh rub right here that was broke out at the top.
Today's the last day of deer season here in Alabama. I ain't seen nothing this morning. I don't know where the deer are at, what they're doing, but these deer are locked down so tight to bedding areas right now, they ain't getting up, moving. You almost got to step on them to get them to move. This is February. It's been like 30s in the mornings, 60s in the evenings. Winds whirling all different directions. Supposed to be out of the southwest. Most of the day it's been out of the northeast. Weatherman can't never get it right in Alabama. I'm gonna hunt a green field this afternoon. I ain't hunted a green field all year. In fact, I ain't hunted a green field in several years. But I'm on my property, and I think I got a green field they're hitting. I ain't even looked at it, to be honest. We going there. Gonna see if they're hitting a green field. I might whack a doe this afternoon. I'm about tired of this. This buck, he's probably 160 class. He's 140, 130, 160 plus class I've been after. They all been eluding me this year. I seen the 140 once. Couldn't get him on film. Had the 130 come right up in my face. Couldn't get him on film. Maybe the 160 will come out in my green field. Wouldn't that be something? I doubt it. We're going to go set in a tree. Well, today is the last day of deer season here in Alabama. It's February 10th. And I'm set up on a green field. This is the first time I've sat on a green field in a long time. A couple of years ago I sat in the upper end of this field and had some does come in just early season messing around, seeing what was coming into the field. They smelt me and took off. This end of the field is looks like where the bucks are entering the field. There's a scrape line coming up and there's a scrape dead under. There's two scrapes within bow range of me. On the edge of this field is really thick behind me. And this end of the field is thicker. The other end of the field it butts up against a clear cut, so it's real thick. All the does seem to come in that side, and the rut's over. It's all about food. I'm hoping these bucks will at least come in where these scrapes are. Maybe eat on this corner of the field. Maybe check the scrape. They always check scrapes year round, so that's my game plan. It's real thick behind me.
Well, my green fields don't really look that well. It's only the second year I've had fields. I did lime them really well the first year and been fertilizing them, taking soil samples, doing what needs to be done. As you can see, as I zoom in on the field, you can tell it's just not doing quite like it should. Either that or the deer's got it so mowed down on this end that it just looks pathetic. I think I just ain't got them right yet. It'll take time. Got really poor soil conditions. Well, all I saw was this crazy bat that kept flying around my head all afternoon.